always say people that tax is a reward, not a liability. There are so many benefits, even you have a zero income.
Okay, so again, thank you everyone for coming to our income tax info session. With us today, we have two guests, our lawyer, Bill Reed, and our PERC partners, Paragon Accounting. So I will introduce both. So to get us started, I will introduce Bill. So Bill is probably a familiar face to many. We've been doing our legal sessions monthly for quite a few months now. And he provides legal consultations to students free of charge. So if you are looking to discuss any legal matters or get any legal advice from him, you can book an appointment through the website, and we will be touching later on in today's session on how you can do that. He covers legal advice from family law to immigration, even criminal law, real estate, and business. And as you are seeing today, he also touches on income taxes. We also have with us our partners from Paragon Accounting, who will be here today as well, and we will let you know how you can get in contact with them. They do tax filing for students at a discounted rate. So you can get your taxes filed with them for only $25. So to get it started, we will introduce them and allow them to speak to you about the benefits of filing your taxes.
Hi, thank you, Menda. Is that first Bill will start or we will start?
Well, if you want to just touch on some of the benefits of why students should file their taxes.
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone, I'm Davinder and she's Rani Rathore. We are representing Paragon Accounting and Financial Services. Basically, our core business is tax services and accounting and bookkeeping. I tell you, like in most of the countries, when we think about filing tax returns, people's minds strike that we have to pay something or we don't need to file taxes because we don't have income. But in Canada, it's not like that. We always say people that tax is a reward, not a liability. There are so many benefits, even you have a zero income, even you are an international student or a student, you should file your taxes to get these benefits. I'll tell you some of the benefits. Like first is tax refund. Whatever your tax was deducted by your employer, you will get back within 15 to 20 days. But there is a eligibility for that. That eligibility is your income or your credit, your tuition fees, and any other credit. The second one is tuition fees credit. Most of the students have question how we will get tuition fees. You can get up to 15% of your tuition fees, whatever you paid. Suppose you paid $10,000, you will get $51,500 out of tuition fees. But again, there is an eligibility because it depends upon your income, how much you will get. If you are not getting in this year your tuition credit, that will be forwarded for the next year. Don't worry about it. You will get 15% out of that. That's a definite amount. And GST credit, GST, HST credit, it's around $313. Everybody will get, even you have a no income. It ranges from $300 to $451 if you are a single, and it doubles your amount if you are filing as a family, you have a children and everything. Uh, its eligibility is totally you should be a resident of Canada, even you are a permanent or temporary. The temporary, like if you are one is your age, you should be over 19, or you are turning 19 during the year. That's the eligibility for getting this GST benefit. So most of the students will get GST benefit. Then next is provincial benefits. You know, every province has its own benefit. In Ontario, you will get $313 as a provincial credit, even you have a zero income. You can claim your rent or it goes up to $1,000. Means a provincial Ontario government can give you up to $1,000 as a credit. This students are also eligible for that. It's the same eligibility that you should be over 19 or you are turning 19 during the year. Next, climate action incentive. It's $224. It's everybody will get if you are in Canada from January 1st to December 30th. But that temporary visit to any out of country, that will not affect that benefit. Means everybody will get climate action incentive if you are in Canada for the whole year. Okay, and there are so many. Suppose uh, you are forgetting that child benefit, social assistance benefit, that COVID situation, the government announced so many emergency benefits. For getting these benefit, you should file your taxes. That's a lot of benefit. Every student, that's, I'm telling just in concept of the students. There are so many lot of benefit like for pension, sports system, social assistance, so many. So I recommend you to file your taxes to get these benefits. It's over to you, Amanda.
Thank you so much. So definitely a lot of incentive there to make sure that we file our taxes. So now I will pass the floor to Bill, who will be talking about, oops, let me just go, who will take over from here.
Thank you, Amanda. And I am so glad that our guests from Paragon are here because that's such important information and it's very true. It's very important for everyone to file taxes, even if, as they said, they don't uh, have income or haven't felt in the past that income tax pertained to them. It does pertain to everyone. So I certainly concur with what our guests said. And I know that there are some questions, and we'll come back to them. I'm going to talk about a particular aspect of income tax that is pertinent to this particular tax year, being 2020. It may turn out to be pertinent to 2021 as well, but we're not dealing with 2021's taxes right now. We're about to begin the tax season for 2020, and it is very much pertinent to that year. Even before we had the COVID-19 pandemic and the shutdown that's occurred through most of 2020, some people worked from home. Some employers and employees agreed that it was best if the employees worked from home. And so there's always been a system that the Canada Revenue Agency has had to allow people who worked from home to deduct certain of their home expenses. However, 2020 is different for so many people than any prior year. I'm an example myself because I do the same thing at 7 different schools, Sheridan and 6 others. And I, as Amanda will attest, I used to see her at least once a week because I would be on campus at all of those schools and provide individual legal advice and assistance in person. But because the student union offices, like the campuses as a whole, have been largely closed, I am providing the legal service remotely, just as so many things that the schools and the student unions are providing are being done remotely. And I'm just one of a large number of people who never used to work from home, but did so in 2020. So for 2020, the Canada Revenue Agency has introduced a new simplified system. And employees who have worked from home in 2020 may use either the new simplified system, or they can still use the more detailed system that existed in past years if they calculate and find that it is in their better interest to do so. And we can move on to the next slide. Under the new simplified system, if an employee worked from home on a full-time basis for a period of at least 2 consecutive weeks during 2020, and if that was because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and assuming that their employer did not reimburse them their work from home expenses, then that employee may claim a deduction. the deduction would be $2 per day of full-time work from home to a maximum of $400, which would be 200 days. So the requirement again is to have worked from home for at least 2 consecutive weeks on a full-time basis during 2020. Also that be because of the COVID-19 pandemic and not for other reasons. And of course, if the employer reimbursed them for expenses they incurred, they're not going to be able to claim an income tax deduction. But assuming that that isn't the case, I'll just pause for a moment. We have, assuming that that isn't the case, then they calculate how many days. Again, it had to have been 2 consecutive weeks, being 10 full-time work days, which would be a deduction of $20. But to calculate how many days above that, just multiply by $2. If it happened to be 60 days, for example, that's $120 that they may claim, but to a maximum of 200 work days and $400. And that is the new simplified system that any employee who met those conditions may calculate a deduction for. And we can move on from there.
Yep. Just before we go to the next slide, I do notice a lot of you are putting in questions at the chat, so that's awesome. We do have a question slide, so closer towards the end, we will get to answer them.
Thanks, Amanda. So again, for the employee to qualify, the employer must have either required them to work from home due to the pandemic, or at least given them the choice to do so, and that they chose to do so due to the pandemic. An employer who uses the simplified system doesn't have to show proof of any expenses, doesn't have to have their employer sign any documents. If more than one member of a household worked from the same home, they can each claim the same deduction. I have 2 adult sons who are working from home, and we will each claim that deduction. We have every right to under this new simplified system that the CRA has introduced. And we can move on from there. So as I said, the previous system, the detailed calculation system, still exists, and employees may choose to use that system. An employee would only be able to use that system if the reason they worked from home was not because of the COVID-19 pandemic, as I touched on before. And if the employee wants to claim any work-related expenses other than for a home office, they must use the detailed method. That would include things such as a vehicle, parking, or tools. If an employer, sorry, if an individual is self-employed, they must likewise complete different forms. And I could assist someone, Paragon may be able to, but I won't speak for them. It may be at a different rate, but certainly anyone can begin by talking to me if they were self-employed and they want some guidance. I don't do income tax for people, but I can talk about what system and certainly help them to find what forms would apply. But that is a different situation than we're talking about today. The important thing to remember then is that certainly to use the simplified system, if someone worked from home, but not because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they can't use the simplified system. If they want to claim additional expenses besides just a home office, they can't use the simplified system. Either of those cases, they must use the detailed method, which we'll talk about a bit more shortly. We can move on to the next slide. So to claim under the simplified system, an employee must complete a form T777S, which is easily found on the internet. And they would select option 1 and follow the instructions, which include filing a copy of that form with their other income tax forms. To claim under the detailed system, the employee completes that same form, but also has the employer complete and sign Form T2200S. And that employee must file both forms. If someone's going to use the detailed system, then to calculate the amount of their claim, they must also go through this calculation where they calculate the total amount of their permitted expenses and calculate what percentage of their total home their home office is. The Canada Revenue Agency sets out a list of what expenses qualify as home expenses. Again, someone using a simplified system doesn't have to worry about that. Someone using the detailed system will need to check the Canada Revenue Agency website and see what expenses qualify, add up those expenses with proof, and then to see what percentage of those total expenses they are allowed to deduct, they must calculate what percentage of their residence their home office is. Many students, especially if they're working from home, if they're single and renting, they may have a fairly small apartment, and they may have a home office space that is a significant percentage of that apartment, such that their home office would be a significant percentage, could be 25%, could be a bit more even, of their total home. Now, their expenses are likely to be low, but conversely, someone may be in a larger home where they have higher expenses. However, the percentage of their home that is actually their home office would likely be a lot smaller. So in any event, for everybody using the detailed system, they would need to make the individual calculation and file both forms. And we can move on from there. I believe we've talked about this. We've talked about, yes. So in terms of reaching me, yeah, okay, so there is a form that can be filled out to make appointments with me, to contact me, and this is what I do receive from students frequently. And I don't mind if my email address comes up too, Amanda, that's up to you, maybe on another slide.
Yeah, we'll definitely put this link for the online form, and then we'll also put your email address in the chat as well. So students, you could just copy and paste that, and then you can reach out to Bill in either way. Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much for going through that with us, Bill. We'll get to the questions in a second. I think Paragon's been answering quite a few of the questions, so that's awesome. And just a reminder too, Paragon is one of our Perk Peep tax partners. So we'll also post a link to where you can find their information on the website, and you will be able to reach out to them to contact them, and they're able to offer virtual appointments during this time and do e-filing for you for only $25. So that is a shared and exclusive rate. And lastly, I think Paragon is going to take the floor again to just discuss this slide.
Yeah, thank you, Manda. You know, most of the students, international student thinks that we are not eligible to file the taxes, but it's not, because permanent as well as temporary resident people can file their taxes because they are paying taxes on everything. Even you, any student came on 31st December 2020, he or she is also eligible for filing taxes to get these benefits. That benefits are totally depends upon the individual, their age, their income, everything. You know, most of the people in this COVID situation take that SERB benefits, sport emergency benefits. It is really advisable for the people to file taxes to show their eligibility, because CRA will check eligibility for that emergency sport benefit. Otherwise, they will start getting letters to show their eligibility. So better to file their taxes. Yeah, even the applicant who has a zero income, they are still eligible for few benefits. Few, I think it's a lot of benefits. Okay, and that income tax for 2020 will start from 22nd of February. And get ready with your details. Amanda has and SSU has our contact numbers and email IDs. You can drop an email, we will contact you, or you can call us anytime. Through it, it's not like we just accommodate students for these 3 months. We You can call us any time in the year. If you have any problem related to your tax, you have any question, or you have an audit from CRA, you can call us for that, or just drop an email. We will definitely contact you for that. Okay, thank you,
Awesome.
Anna.
Thank you so much. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to Bill. There was a lot of information covered, a lot of helpful information covered. I know some students did drop in about midway or a little bit after we started. So if you do have any questions, now is definitely the time to ask. I did notice 2 questions come up. So it says, what day can we file taxes, and can we file for the previous year tax also?
Yes, we can do it because starting from this year tax is 22 of February. And you can also go like 10 year back. So you can file any years which you miss.
So thank
Up
you.
to 10 years, last 10 years, you can file.
Hopefully everyone's been filing every year for at least 10 years. So, but if not, at least you know you're covered.
Yeah. And because there is a age also age.
Oh, I think you muted yourself.
Yeah, sorry. There is a age eligibility. Most of the students are 18 or 19 years of age. You should be over 19, or you're turning 19 during the year. Then if you have a tuition, if you pay tuition and you are 18, you can file taxes, but you are not eligible for that benefits. That will be forwarded for the next year. That tuition benefits, or you will get it on next year.
Awesome. I did see a question that came in about getting your T2202 slip from the college. I don't think that might be available until February. If you like, if you could just drop, if you feel comfortable, you can drop your email in, or you can, better yet, reach out to us. I will have Madison, if you can please put the SSU email in the chat, and then we can let you know when that will be available and what link you would just use to be able to get that slip from the college.
Yeah, I'm suggesting everybody just give your SIN to the college, because most of the people, they don't provide the SIN to the college. So if you provide the SIN to the college, so that way we are able to assess your T22 from the CRA.
There's another question that says, do you need address proof for first tax filing?
No, we need just the tax for the mailing address. So they have to have the mailing address where they can get the letter from the CRA.
No need any proof.
Okay, we have another question. It just disappeared on me. Are we eligible for Trillium health benefits?
Yeah, if you are over 19, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And another question. So we start filing after February 20th, not before, right?
Yes, not before, no. It's after 22.
Awesome. Do we have any more questions? Once again, the whole session has been recorded, so that will be made available on our website under the legal tab page, but hopefully by the end of the week, if not early next week. Again, Madison dropped the email in the chat, so thank you for doing that. If you have any questions about any of the information that we discussed here today, you can also reach out to that email and we will get back to you within 24 hours. Another question was, they were wondering if they can claim student fees, books, computers, etc.
No, before it was in 2017. Everybody have to claim that, but after the 2017, the CRA eliminate those things from the tax. Just the tuition, whatever on the 2022, we can just claim on that one only. Before, if anybody have to file the tax before 2017, they can do, but not after that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And somebody's asking what documents they need to file their taxes.
Yeah, they need the T22T for their SIN, their address, and date of birth, and rent receipt. And if they work like 2, 3 places, all the T4 from all the places.
Somebody's asking about claiming the benefits that Paragon mentioned today. So my suggestion would be, we did put their email in the chat. So if you want to contact them through that, they can let you know how you can claim those benefits as well. And it would be advisable that you claim it with them if you like, because it would be a lot more helpful. Awesome, thanks, Madison. Someone else asked, do you need rent receipts for rent up to $500?
We don't need that. CRA may ask you to provide that receipt. It's better to get receipt from your landlord. Otherwise, we don't need that. You should be just provide rent information. That's it. But it should CRA may ask you about that.
Then they have to provide to the CRA. Otherwise, they will just sending the letter and they want the money back, whatever they pay for that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Another question came in. If we are self-employed, what could we present?
If you are self-employed, mainly your income plus your expenses. You have to have an Excel sheet or the list. You can make when you got the income and when your expenses is. So all the expenses and the income, we need all these things. And then we will check what is claimable or what is not claimable. And then we can go from there. Mainly the expenses and income is mandatory.
And someone's asking, is there a percentage for mortgage or receipts or bank statements?
Mortgage is not a mortgage, but if you are working from the home, the some part of the interest only, if you paying the interest, we can claim interest only on that. But it should be you are working from the home and what area you are working, like 40%, 30%, only that percentage we can claim.
A student also asked that they just arrived in Canada and they stayed in an Airbnb. Can they present that payment as well?
No, only if it's only rent can claim, but not that kind of stuff.
Okay. And someone else is asking, what documents are required to claim tuition credit?
Only T22.
And that was what we discussed. For students, that should be available through your Access Sheridan. So again, reach out to the SSU email.
End of the February, you will get it.
Yeah. You'll often also get an email to your Sheridan College domain email that lets you know it's available and also steps outlining where you can get that. And again, you could also reach out to SSU and we can provide you with a link on how you'll get that document. Someone is asking if graduate students can get help with tax filing. So Paragon Accounting is an accounting clinic on its own, so you can reach out to them. If you are a graduate, however, you won't get access to the discounted rate because the discounted rate is available to current students who have a current one card. But of course, like you can still use Paragon itself. It is a public organization.
Yeah, happy to help. No problem.
And this might be a follow-up to a previous question. I might be misunderstanding, but they asked bank statements work as proof or income or proof of income, sorry.
Yeah, bank proof is okay. And if they have a T4A, most of the self-employed people get the T4A and some people get the pay stub, some people get the invoices. These all can be helped.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I don't think we're getting any more questions, but like I said, definitely reach out to SSU, reach out to Bill if you have any questions. His email was here as well, or Paragon, and any of us would definitely be more than willing to answer any of your questions. So thank you again for joining us today. As mentioned, this whole session was recorded and can be found on the SSU website. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill, for coming, and thank you, Paragon, for being here.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye, everyone.